Happy 4th of July, everybody. I wanted to show you the latest journal I completed of a bachelor maid and her brother. This is a very feminine journal, lots of pretty ladies and antique lace in this one. I had to reinforce the spine because it was in pretty bad shape, but it's pretty sturdy now. And I used this really pretty embroidered sari silk. It's got some beading on it, really pretty. I thought the color went well and complemented the femininity of the journal. So I could just untie this and go inside here. So, some of the sari silk left over. The inside cover is a beautiful lady. I added a little bit of silk to her collar and glued her to fabric, so she's very flexible. And she's also glued to this piece of antique lace. And you've got this beautiful roses, feminine roses in the background, and charming gowns for afternoon. I made into a journal card. And then some really lovely papers. I wanted to keep it very soft and feminine, so the papers are all very soft. This beautiful lady I copied off an antique postcard, and this beautiful lady is also copied off of an antique postcard. You put her back in there. You got beautiful paper here. Everything's coffee dyed. This lady again, this is actually an antique die cut, so I just glued her on to make her into a pocket. I carried the flowers up here, and this is a lady off of an antique postcard. Beautiful. I actually have her twin on another postcard, which is also really pretty in blue. Another antique postcard and some antique lace, some little flowers, and this great copy from an antique magazine ad of the hats. How beautiful. Big, big hats. Lots of embellishment on those hats. But they were fun to wear. Pretty coffee dyed paper. I just fussy cut this lady, glued her to fabric, put a little bit of sheet music behind her, and this piece of antique lace that I fussy cut a little bit. And then this page, I just wanted it to be soft and feminine, so I added a little piece of antique lace to a copy of another antique postcard. Some old sheet music that was coffee dyed, and I added a little bit of lace remnants to that. And then you can see there's lace on the borders. These are all old laces. And then this very beautiful, used to be a doily, but I folded it and made it into an envelope, and I sewed this really pretty glass button to it. So very dainty, and the lace on this was just so pretty. I thought it was really appropriate in here. And I can't seem to keep the wrinkles out of it, but that's what happens with old things, I guess. Lots of coffee dyed papers. Another piece of antique lace is a nice remnant. And this flower remnant, embroidered leaves, and the silk flower here is a remnant from an antique 1920s silk dress, which is literally disintegrating, but I was able to salvage some of the beautiful embellishments on it. And then I put this beautiful copy of a beautiful postcard. I added some antique lace to that. Slid that in there. These papers are from G&T Designs. Renee does such a great job on these. I made another lady, fussy cut her and glued her to fabric. And this is an antique calling card. And I think it's in German, maybe. Antique calling card, and another, it's an antique trade card. It says to other boat. So they're waving at the other boat, I guess. I thought that was pretty in there. Pretty papers. I think they're from TLC Creations. Really soft and feminine. This pretty lady here. I added a little bit of sewing and a little bit of antique lace at the bottom, and tucked in just a piece of paper, writing paper, coffee dyed. I like the color there, and it's actually sewn onto a coffee filter that's folded over as a page. And then this is a very old greeting card, kind of a silky paper, and I folded it into the signature and added this little piece from an antique doily. I put in this copy of an vintage love letter. I've made some journal cards with this. It starts with "Dearest Little Sweetheart." It's very sweet, and I just tucked it inside here. I thought it went well there. And there's the back of that card and the back of the journal card. Pretty card. I thought it just fit really nicely in here. Another lady that's glued to fabric, and another antique calling card that just happened to be blank. I did a little bit of punching at the edge to make it prettier. And then this is from to advertisement for gloves. And it's not in the best shape, as you can see, but it's so pretty in here that it's an original, so I just tucked it in here. So handle it with care, Sharon, when you get this. But I just thought it was really pretty and feminine in there. And another pretty piece of feminine paper. These ladies in their fur. I thought that was pretty. This lady's cut out and glued to fabric, as usual. Beautiful lady on a journal card. And I'm sorry, my husband's vacuuming. A piece of, another beautiful piece of metallic thread embroidery that's from another antique dress. Really pretty embroidery. Really, the antique, the metallic thread is just so pretty. Some more pretty papers, and a vintage postcard. It's probably antique looking at the back of it. A 1-cent postage stamp, and just a piece of lace and a button that's sewn to it. Another antique lace here. And then this beautiful lady, I glued down a piece of antique lace because she has all this veiling on her. I thought it was pretty there. And this beautiful handwriting that's on here from 1905. I don't know what it says. It's in another language. And then I just tucked a piece of paper in here for writing. I like the lace on the paper. More pretty coffee dyed paper. Another remnant from an antique dress. This is some beautiful beading that I just glued to the page so you could enjoy it. I'm sorry about the noise. I think it'll stop in a second. I think he's actually vacuuming my craft space that I just left, so it's my own fault because I'm sure I left a mess. This is a very old lace glove that I just glued down in a couple spots so it can be easily removed from here. And I folded this over just so it lays nicely in here. But it also, this is the other side of that greeting card. So I thought it looked nice underneath there. And I added this copy of a frame, and I cut this lady out of an antique Valentine card and glued her inside there. And then I just added this pretty handwritten postcard, another antique it looks like. I thought it looked pretty with the handwriting sticking out here. Aren't you jealous that my husband's vacuuming for me? Another piece of really beautiful antique lace. I think he might be done in my room. Another lady that is glued onto fabric. So this is just the other side of the coffee filter. So I actually glued the lace down onto the coffee filter. And I love postcards where there's writing on the front. Every time I find one, I have to grab it. I think this one says 1905 also. Isn't she elegant? And I like it when the stamp's on the front too. So I made her into a pocket and tucked another calling card in here. I have so much ephemera, I always scan it and use it over and over again, but I'm finding that I need to let go of some of the original ephemera, so I have places for new things. I made this lace. I just can't get over how pretty this lace is, and probably you have to see it in person to really appreciate the beauty of it. But it's just absolutely stunning. And I glued it onto this page, which is glued to the back of this page, but this is the cover page from this original book, A Bachelor Maid. And then I added this, another antique postcard, 1913, inside of here, inside the pocket. And another piece of antique lace. Some of these laces are just so stunning. I actually was given these laces, and I couldn't be more delighted to have the opportunity to give them a new life and just honor them because they're just stunningly beautiful. And here's another antique postcard. I glued a piece of this lace into her hair and tucked her in the pocket. And pretty papers. Another lady cut out and glued to fabric. Glued her to this calling card and added, she's torn a little bit, but this is another antique postcard. It's got the price on the back. I'll have to see if I can get that off, or maybe I'll give you a different postcard, Sharon, if that's what you prefer. I didn't notice that before. Pretty purple flowers. Pocket out of another antique postcard. And then this is another antique postcard. This one is 1907. And very pretty. And another flower and embroidered stem from that same antique dress that I saved the flower and glued it here onto yet another antique postcard and another copy of one. I don't know what the date of this one is. Honestly, I can't tell. And then this antique lace I glued in and folded over and made just a big pocket. And I did that because of the photos that are in here. These copies of cabinet cards, ladies in their lingerie. I just liked the idea of putting them, giving them a little privacy behind the lace. So that's what I did, and I thought they looked really elegant in here. So they can be tucked in all the way, or they can peek out. I thought that was an interesting way to highlight those. This other beautiful antique postcard with more, it looks like French writing on it. A little remnant of the postage stamp. A piece of vintage ribbon at the bottom, just to bring out the beautiful color. And I just tucked in another journaling paper in here. Looked pretty with the flowers there. A few of these ladies from an antique book page. Aren't they pretty? Wish I could dress like that. This is from a calendar. It was actually a pretty large calendar that I shrunk down in March 1913. I made her into a pocket. Look at the waist on her. And then here's another calendar from April of 1913. I shrunk this down a little lower, a little smaller. They're both from the same company, E. Dayton and Company, wholesale jewelers. So I can see the pearls on her, but I'm not sure what jewelry they're advertising on her, except for her waist. Maybe it's the crystal bowl there. But I thought that was, those were so pretty. And then this lady, again, obviously she's on my fabric. So she's flexible, a piece of beautiful and delicate antique lace. And then a copy of another postcard. And, oh, I turned her upside down. Piece of sheet music, Dainty Miss, which I thought was really pretty in here. And now I'm going to go back and review this because I'm not sure if everything's showing up in this video. And I'm not sure how hard it was for you to hear me, so I may have to retape it. But thank you for watching, and thank you, hubby, for vacuuming my craft space. Have a great holiday. Bye.